is really the fragrance that really got me into the scent cologne slash perfume game, and it's from the house of Davidoff, and it's called Adventure. So let's talk more about this. This is Scent IQs, and let's talk more about Adventure. This is a very interesting fragrance because it's basically the fragrance that got me into the perfume world, or into the cologne world, if you like, into the scent world. And this is actually my first video where I'll be talking about a series of my experiences in the fragrance world, and it's I hope you guys you really enjoy this content. And the reason why I call it the Scent IQs is because as we go on, we'll be basically be going deeper into the fragrance game. Davidoff Adventure is a very interesting fragrance for me because around the year 2000 and probably 2010, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think around the year 2010, if I'm not mistaken, I was passing through, going through an airport, and went through a duty-free section, and basically came across this, and I bought this as a blind buy. Davidoff by Adventure, it's a very interesting fragrance. It's a very woodsy, spicy, but at the same time citrusy kind of a fragrance. Now, what I did apply this about 3 hours ago, and definitely on the base you get that black pepper, spicy kind of light musk to it. Now, it was released in 2008 by the French perfumer Antoine. And others, of course. It's a very interesting fragrance for me because it's more of a cooler winter kind of a fragrance. I'll classify this as a more of a cooler winter kind of fragrance that they release this. It's a very nice fragrance. Now let's just apply some so that we can have a feel of some fresh notes. Now, right out of the batch, the first spray, they give you that blast of that citrusy bergamot, mandarin orange, lemon, heading down to the light musk. I can feel the spicy black pepper in the background. The reason why I've used this for so many years, and I know it works best in the winter. Now, in summer, it's not really it's okay, you can put it off in the summer, but in winter, this fragrance has got that very interesting, piercing through the cold, and it does that exceptionally well. No doubt, I've received a couple of compliments, around the world as I kept on carrying this around with me. Yeah, it's a very interesting fragrance, but in 2009, Davidoff, I think they did a good job in releasing a much summer version of this, and it's called Davidoff Adventure Amazonia. This was a limited edition. To me, this came across as a much greenier version of this. Now, this is the 2008 release version, and this is the 2009 Amazonia. Now, to me, this fragrance, it's a very underrated fragrance. It's definitely a designer fragrance, but honestly speaking, it doesn't come across as generic at all. It's a very higher quality concept design, I'll say, that the perfumer managed to pull this thing off. And I wish they could have, worked more on this and kept on, developing this to a much more higher quality, version of it. But other than that, it's definitely a very high quality fragrance. You definitely not go wrong. Like I said, especially in the winter, this will definitely get you some compliments. Um, and then if you are moving into the summer, you definitely want to go into the Amazonia version. Now obviously it's definitely inspired, it's definitely inspired by the South American, rainforest, the Amazon, which is, covers most of South America. I've been to the Amazon. It's a very interesting place to be at. And the Amazonia, the Amazonia gives you a much more greenery version of this fragrance, because um, which which definitely goes into the summer version. Now the only problem I have with the Amazonia, it's that it doesn't last that long as compared to this. Now this won't last you long in the summer, but this I can guarantee you it will last you long in the winter, especially if you were to apply this on your clothes, somewhere safe on your clothes. This can, trust me, this can stay for about 2 to 3 days and just lingering in the atmosphere. It's a very interesting fragrance, and I felt like I need to talk about a fragrance that really got me into this game, and and see how it goes. In terms of how long does it last, I'll say this can definitely take you through a full day, and then if you need to freshen up a bit more, you can try that in like in half a day or so, just to to let it kick starting. It's definitely a brilliant fragrance, and I just hope that the limited edition that they released, which is the Amazonia, they can work more on this, because I think this fresher version of it has some potential. Definitely has some potential. I think Davidoff really um, had something going on in here. Davidoff really was on the right track with this version of these two colognes. As you can see, I've really used quite a lot of this. I just love this fragrance. There's no doubt. I just love this fragrance. So I hope, yeah. So what's, like I said, what is the difference between the Amazonia and this? This is a much fresher, much more greenier, if we were to take it that way. But in terms of the base, in terms of the concept notes, you know, these are definitely similar. These are definitely similar. There's no doubt about that. This will do well in the winter, and this will do well in your summer version, in a very hot summer version. And again, this also can do well as your gym or your workout kind of fragrance, because it's very light. Honestly, it's very light and fresh, and it doesn't really come across as strong. Now, the 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 adventure, the first sprays can be a bit. It does have that potential of being more piercing through as it is. Now, right now temperatures are a bit cooler, and this does exceptionally well in very cool climate. So I hope this video will share some light into Davidoff Adventure.